And she's like, okay. I said, sure, you can come in or you can call me and then we'll get you sorted out the next day. And let me tell you something. God got a funny way of keeping people in your minds. And I left that
And
my job that
she's
evening.
like, okay.
I said, and the next day I'm thinking, oh God, let there be a breakthrough somehow from some way. And she called me 9 a.m. that morning. She said, ma'am, Miss Burrows, I got it. I said, okay, awesome. And then she started talking about this business and this what's been helping her son out. And I was like, okay. So she and I just started talking, and I don't know what went off in me, but I know it was the Holy Ghost. It was a God thing. And I just started speaking in tongues. I could not speak to her any longer. I had to get out of the people building. I had to go outside. For an hour straight, the Holy Ghost was dealing with me, and I just could not speak in English. And when I finally was able to say something in English, they started, she's like, I could hear the Holy Ghost say it, and I could still hear it right now. I could see the whole thing still right now. He's like, I've introduced these products or these formulas to this country to heal this nation from COVID, from diseases, to get the body of Christ healed. Donnelly then in return just started hollering and screaming and speaking in tongues. And she's like, Miss, hold on, hold on. I don't know you, but hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm like, okay, okay, but I'm still speaking in tongues, so I'm between in and out. And she said, listen to my aunt. So her aunt came on the phone and she said the same thing. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And the next day she's like, I've got to meet you. I've got to meet you. So she and I met. And when I tell you, when they talk about in the Bible about Martha and Mary, when they connect, the Holy Spirit leaped inside of them. That's what happened to Donnelly and I. When she and I hugged, embraced each other, there was this connection of power, of energy that I've felt before, but never between anybody I've ever hugged before. It was like, wow. And right after that, within I think couple weeks later, then my job called me and it's like, well, you gotta go furlough. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, okay, God, you done planning this whole thing out and orchestrating this whole thing for me. And see, I've always been into health and fitness, and I always believe that the body of Christ should always be healthy. And I've always been praying, say, God, you've got to help us with trying to find some way to heal our bodies, and even to some a product or a formula that's going to actually help out our children and all. And when this came about, and just the whole dynamics behind it was just totally powerful for me. I've seen breakthrough when I could, and then of course in July they let me go. But let me tell you something. What the enemy had meant for bad, God turned this whole situation around for me. Because let me tell you something. Every day I was busy with learning the products, with getting to know the business, with learning the people that have now called my family, my Sankey family, knowing every single thing that I could possibly know about this business. And because there's so much more every single day, there's something new that's arising. And it's just been an amazing situation for me. I can tell you, with that, I thank God because see, the mind is a serious thing. And if you don't have something to occupy your mind that is something positive, you can pray all you want, but the enemy will still come and attack you. I thank God for Sankey for that area. I've had another episode where my I've had this, I play soccer, I coach soccer. So my toenail, my right big toe was slit because of playing soccer, the toenail, and it would not grow out. 30 something years passed just here, just recently, and I've been on the products from April. Just here, December, November, December, I went to get my pedicure done, and the nail um tech was like, "Why are you hollering?" I said, "Miss, you don't understand." I said, "Is my toe crack?" She said, "What toe crack? Ain't no toenail crack here." So let me tell you something. When they talk about reverse, recover, and restore, I got proof in all kind of areas of my life, internally and externally. But that one was the biggest one for me because I've been praying. I'm like, Lord, when is this toenail gonna stop? Every time I play soccer, or if I go running or whatever I did, the toenail would just crack even more. I'm here to tell you the products, the formulas, they do what they say they do. Reverse, recover, and restore. My toenail is totally being healed. It blows me away every time I look at it. You know, because it used to be, okay, when you wear sandals or whatever, you got to be careful because it'll be hooked something. But it doesn't hook anymore because it's been reversed, it's been recovered, it's been restored. People, these are amazing products. I could tell you all kind of stuff. I use the products on my face. I use it to brush my teeth. I use it to cook with. I put it in my fruits. I put it in my salad, put it in my smoothie. It's amazing. My kids take it. So I just want to say, this is my Sankey story. This is my Sankey why. And every last one that a person that's on here, it's amazing. It's amazing. That's all I can say. And I'm thank you for this opportunity to be able to share this with you tonight. Right back to you, Queen Donnelly.
Thank you, Queen Rhonda. Thank you for that testimonial. Wow, guys, as I tell you, I'm a nurse, and one of my certification is in wound care, and we had persons come to us over and over and over again with that same situation with nail cracking and sorry about that, my video wasn't on. With nails cracking in the nail bed and doctors having to remove the nail, and they remove the nail and the nail still comes back cracked. Remove the nail still comes back cracked. But now here it is, a product that is actually reversing and restoring the nail bed. Actually having persons who have restoration in their cuticles and in their nail bed. That is something, that's regeneration. That is what that is. So guys, this stuff is so amazing. So let me just get out the way because we have so many testimonies on here tonight. I'm gonna call to the line a beautiful woman. She's worked in the hospital. She's now, I think she's even retired from the hospital, but she can actually correct me if I'm wrong. And she's also a pastor. She's a woman of the word, and she's a beautiful woman. I've known her through walking the hallways of our government hospital, our main hospital here in the Bahamas, where we work tirelessly. And so I'd like to bring to the line none other than Queen Pastor Barbara. Are you out there?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. A very pleasant good evening to all of you, especially my Sankey family and those of you who are tuned in, especially for the first time. The Bible says that I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospereth. And as a pastor, I say, how can we preach this message when we're on dialysis, when we're broke, when we're busted, can't be trusted, when we're too sick sometimes that the podium have to hold us up? How do we preach this message without being convicted? In November of 2019, in 2018, I got a prophecy. And let me say off the top, not everybody can prophesy to me. And it's simply because Bible says you sharpen iron with iron. And so I'm not one of those easy ones who has an itchy ear. But I was on a platform to speaking engagement in Atlanta. And the lady who should have spoke the night after me, she came that evening to see what was going on, I guess, to test the water. And there she called me up and she began to prophesy. And she said, Ma'am, I don't know who you are. She said, but I am told that you're from the Bahamas. She said, and can I say to you that as you spoke, she said, I literally saw pearls coming from your mouth. First time I'd ever heard something like that. She said to me, she said, your gift is going to make room. Well, I've heard that from I was a child. And so I've been in many, many business opportunities where I started and stopped. And Dr. Helen always say, where you put the products on the shelf. But she promised me, she said, if I be a woman of God, she said, the Lord is going to allow something to come into your hands. She said, you're going to help hundreds, if not thousands of persons. She said to me, she said, I see you becoming a millionaire just through using this gift that God has given you. And I held on to that prophecy, and January of 2019, I came into the new year very, very optimistic, still with the that prophecy in mind. But can I tell you that by May of 2019, I was unable to walk, and I was unable to do so for 8 months. And so here it was, my family had to do basically everything for me. I had suffered some sciatica damage, and at the same time, my appendix ruptured, and it was sitting there for 3 days unannounced to me. Yes, I felt the excruciating pain, but it was my thought that I had eaten from a particular takeout restaurant, and I figured I might have been food poisoned. And as severe as the pain had been, I was drinking the regular peppermint tea, and the pain got so bad they had to rush me into emergency surgery. But the doctor said to me, he said, look, he said, you suffered a blood clot before, and so we're going to take you into theater, but we're not so certain what is likely to happen. So I told him, I said, give me some worship music. If I can have any wish at all, can you do that for me? And I went off to sleep, and first thing the next morning when he came, he asked me, he said, how come you're up? He said, if you see what I took from your stomach, he said, I was almost certain that that had gotten in your bloodstream and that they would have called me anytime to say that you went into shock. I'm sharing these two stories with you because when God has purpose for your life, there's nothing the enemy can do about it. And so I thought I'd encourage somebody today on this line that you may have gone through much pain and agony from whatever chronic illness you may have. But if there's purpose for your life, then God has the final say. I held on to the prophecy even though I couldn't walk, Queen Ruth Ann. I held on to that prophecy that God was going to trust me with something that I can help hundreds, if not thousands of people. And so while I was home, not able to walk, I got a call from my job where my boss had asked that I be replaced. He said, because I was weak and that I could not, I was no benefit to the team, in other words. I had just been agent of the year before, but that went straight out of the window. And so in 2 weeks with a heavy heart, my manager at the time, she had to go and look to replace me while I was home, my second week on sick leave. I said, God, you must have something else for me. So about 20 years ago, I was under immense pressure prior to all this happening, under a lot of stress, going through a very, very rough divorce, and I'd lost everything almost. It was like a Job. But I know that God had a purpose for my life. And so when they clinically did their investigations, they said that I was suffering from hypothyroidism. That's where the thyroid gland was not producing sufficient thyroid hormones to run the body metabolism. And so I was always feeling fatigue and anxiety. I could remember one time I went to take my daughter to a hospital in the US. She was diagnosed with lupus. And instead of me taking her to the doctor, when I reached Miami Airport, there I was all hooked up with the paramedics working on me. And I can only look in a distance and see the look on her face as if it was her last breath. But when God has purpose for you, there's nothing that the devil can do with you. And so I was suffering from depression, weight gain, insomnia, constant headaches, joint pains, stiffness and swellings most times, memory loss. As a matter of fact, the memory loss was so bad until one day I was looking for my glasses. My granddaughter, she said, Grammy, she said, Nana, your glasses is on your face. Puffy face. And 15 years ago, after all those chronic symptoms, I had a partial thyroidectomy. It was impossible for me to lose weight. My friends, if I had just gone to the bathroom and passed through the kitchen, I would put on 10 pounds. But luckily for me, that prophecy began to unfold in November of 2020, when a young lady by the name of Queen Lydia called me up, and she said to me, she said, look, I have something that I want you to be a part of. And from that day, can I say to you that my life was never the same? The products, I am feeling so much better. It is as if my life has begun anew. One of the problems that, because of the thyroid situation, I was unable to have frequent passes. And so there were many days that I just didn't visit the bathroom. But can I say that after taking the products, that after every meal, I'm able to visit the bathroom? I'm sleeping like a baby because of the Crew. And can I say that my triple chin is now a double chin, leading now into a single chin? And so I have begun to lose weight just through using these products. Weight loss was always a challenge since the thyroid problem came into play. And so now I'm able to wear a belt and be able to show the progress and the way how these products have been bringing my weight down. These products, my friends, have changed my life drastically. Can I say that they have changed my life drastically? And so I entreat with you too, especially those of you who are tuning in for the first time, these products work. We don't have to try and convince you. The testimonies are here. Will you live a life of purpose, or will you live a life of defeat? Queen Ruth Ann, I thank you for having me share on this forum this evening. God bless you all.
Wow, what an amazing testimony. Wow, Barbara. Wow, Queen Barbara. What a testimony. My God, this has changed your life. This has actually changed your life through the grace of God. And I thank God for Lydia, who invited you here. And speaking of Lydia, Queen Lydia, she is also a nurse. And she is another one with a testimony with us this evening. Queen Lydia, I know her also from the work field, from the hospital. And she also is a lady of the word, a lady of stature, a spiritual woman. So without further ado, I'd like to bring to you the lady who brought this phenomenal pastor, Barbara, into this movement. That is what we're going to call this, right, Pastor Barbara? This movement.
Yes, indeed, it is.
This movement, you know, to actually restore, recover, and reverse. And as if you were on last night, Nurse Jennifer says, your dis-ease. She's not calling disease, your dis-ease. So I'm going to bring to the line Queen Lydia Adley. Are you out there?
I'm out here. Thank you. Thank you, Queen Beverly, a longtime friend. Dr. Ruth Ann, it's so good to see you. Always a pleasure seeing you. And Pastor Barbara, what can I say after you? Wow, wow, wow. Beautiful, beautiful. I just want to share my story of how I got into the Sankey movement. In 2015, I had a slip and fall at work, and I fell flat on my back, so I sustained injury to my neck and my lower back area. As a result of that, I tried not to, didn't want to have the surgery, tried to avoid it as much as I can. But in 2016, I saw myself, I was just going downhill, because anyone who knew me would always say, you walk like a New Yorker, you walk like a New Yorker. You would see me this way, this minute, and the next minute, I am someplace else. I was always going. Never take no for an answer, always going, want to see and do things and have it done the right way. So that was me. I'm always on top of things, try to be on top of things. So in 2016, June, I had a surgery. I had the back and neck surgery at the same time. So at Doctor's Hospital, went in the operating theater the morning of June 7th, 2016, a surgery that was supposed to last 4 hours. Doctor told me I was in theater for about 8 to 10 hours. And so when I got out of the surgery after having a back and neck surgery at the same time, had plates and screws in my neck, had plates and screws in my back. So in the afternoon of 2016, 7th of June, when I woke up, doctor said to me, he came in to, find out how I was doing. And he said to me, your surgery went well, Miss Adderley. He said, it went well except for one thing. He said, we sent down a screw in your back, which didn't hold. I said, didn't hold, doctor? I said, the screw didn't hold. I said, so what did you do? What did you do about that? So he said, it's nothing I could have done. He said, and that's why the surgery took so long, because we were trying to get it out. We were not able to get it removed. So as a result of that, it has to remain there. I said, well, wow. I felt like getting up and just screaming, literally screaming. So anyway, my discharge summary was written up from theater. They normally does that because my doctor was so anxious to get off the island. He had another engagement. So he discharged me from theater. So I stayed, I was in hospital. The second day he came, and after that, I didn't see him anymore. So I was just not getting better, having severe pains and discomfort and all that because I was in traction, my neck and my back and all that. I was just in traction from my head to my toes. And so I had asked to see a physician because by this time my doctor had already left the island. So, in doctor's hospital, they're not gonna treat you if you was not their patient, they are not gonna touch you because of litigation, all that kind of thing. So I stayed there, 4 days passed, no doctor came to see me. So I was just getting worse, growing worse. So finally, my family got so irate. They went and they spoke with administration, and then they tried to get a neurosurgeon to see me. And so I was able to get Dr. Magnus to come in after the 4 days to see me. And I was there for 15 days after the surgery, just getting worse and worse and worse. So finally, I was discharged. Home in a wheelchair and had to have a caregiver and all that. And so a few months later, I found that I was really not getting any better. I was just getting worse. So a few months later, I felt like I was having like my spinal area felt as if it was contracting. And so I went back to see Dr. Magnus. I said, Dr. Magnus, I said, something is going on. I said, I feel like I have a spine infection. So he said, a spine infection? Say, how do you determine that, Lydia? I said, because I just feel something like pulling and grabbing and stuff like that in the area where the screw is loose. So he said, any fever? I said, no fever. He said, any chills? I said, no chills. So he said, wow, I don't understand it. So apparently he did some lab tests and all that. And by the time I got back from the lab and Went home, they called me, they said, you have to be admitted right away. Say, you have to go back to Dr. Magnus' office now. You have to be admitted right away. Say, because something is going on and you have to be in hospital. Went to the office and Dr. Magnus said to me, you have to go to hospital. They wait. So went down to the doctor's hospital. Long and short of it, I stayed in doctor's hospital for 5 weeks. 5 weeks, just lying there having all these high-powered antibiotics and had so many physicians and all that. The infectious doctor, Dr. Forbes, I'm sure you're all aware of her, Nakia Forbes. She's on the COVID team and all that excellent lady. So I was there for 5 weeks and I literally saw myself dying there in hospital. So one day I said to Dr. Forbes, I said, Dr. Forbes, I said, please don't let me die here. I said, let me go. Let me go to the US. Transfer me to the US. Well, anyway, long and short of it, they arranged for me to go to the US. So I went to the US. I discharged from Doctor's Hospital, went straight to the US, admitted to University of Miami Hospital. I stayed in University of Miami Hospital for about 3.5 weeks. And the first 2 days after my admission, I had a back surgery where they took me in theater. They said they clean up all of the debris that was floating in my spinal area, all the debris from the broken bone that I was having because of this screw that went down and didn't hold. So that was apparently dangling and that was just breaking up like the vertebrae and all that kind of thing. Then in theater, I had the surgery. And 2 days later, the doctor came back to me. Well, I know the surgery wasn't a success because when I woke up, I felt a disconnect in my body. So doctor came back to me about, and 2 days later, he said, Lydia, he said, the surgery didn't work. So I told him, I said, no, it didn't work. I said, because I could feel a disconnect. I felt as if my bottom was not connected with my top. I could feel a difference in my body. So he said, we removed the screws and the plates and all that. And we tried to tidy up and he showed me all the x-rays and CT scan with all the bones. You could see the area was destroyed. Like it was like a tractor had gone through my bones. And anyway, he said, it didn't work. He said, we have to take you back in theater again. He said, we have to take you back to do another surgery. And this time what we have to do, we have to build a cage. We have to build a cage to hold your vertebrae together. So I say, wow. So he said, no. During the first surgery, he said, you didn't lose any blood. He said, and he said, this is the second time in 5 days. He said to go and have a spinal surgery. He said, you already had a bone infection to your spine. He said, I cannot guarantee you life. He said, what might happen, say you can code in theater and you might die. He said, and I want to be upfront with you and your husband. So I'm sitting there listening. I said to him, I said, doctor, he said, and if you code while you're in theater, well, you know what code means. That's if your heart stop and they have to resuscitate you and all that. Said, if you were to code, say, would you want us to resuscitate you? So I said, of course, I want you all to resuscitate me. I said, if I code, go ahead, resuscitate me. I said, but you know what? I said, I'm not gonna code. I'm not gonna code. So went into the surgery, went in very hopeful. I came out when I woke up and all that. They said, Lydia, the surgery went well and all that, but you have to stay in hospital for a long time because you're critically ill and all that. I was being monitored. They watch you, they watch you if you move your hands, they know because they just on top of everything. So I was there for 3.5 weeks. My husband stayed in the hospital in the same room because he said he was not gonna move, and they thought he didn't trust them. And so he stayed there to complete time with me. And so every time I turn, I would prefer him to do something. I'd say, then they say, why you gotta call Mr. Adley? Why can't I do it? I say, well, I just feel more comfortable with him doing it and all that. Anyway, long and short of it, I stayed in University of Miami for hospital for 3.5 weeks. I was critically ill, got better gradually, and then I was discharged to rehab in Coral Gable. Going over to the rehab, I had to go by ambulance, and it felt like I was riding on a mountain and they coming down, and that was because of all the pain and all that kind of thing. So I went into rehab. I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to stand. I had to learn how to sit. All of my muscle mass had deteriorated. I was not even able to hold an empty cup in my hand because it felt like, it felt like I was just lifting 5 gallon or something because all the muscle mass had deteriorated. And then I had lost so much weight. I was like, all of my like skin and everything, it was just all the dryness, and it was like I was just shedding everything and all that. So went into rehab, stayed there for a while. When I got out of rehab, I was able to sit down. I was able to get up because I had to learn how to taste. You had to stand up, and then you had to learn how to sit back down. Then because of your lifestyle, they put you in a car. You had to do that. You had to learn how to turn the steering wheel. You had to learn how to sit in the car and all that. I had to learn how to take the clothes out of the closet and hang it up and everything. Everything I had to learn how to do while I was in rehab. And it wasn't easy because those people don't take no for an answer. And so when they come for you 3 times a day, I mean, it's literally no rest because when they come and they're gonna work you out. They're gonna make sure you get what they want you to have. So it really, really was not easy. I was on every medication in the book. Like Dr. Rudhan always talk about the amount of medication she was on. One day I was lying down and I saw the Walgreens pharmacist. She came in and she had an overnight bag on her shoulder. So she said, Lydia said, I am here to bring your medication and explain it to you before I take it over to the nurse. She had an overnight bag on her shoulder. I saying now this bag have to be for not for me alone. This have to be for the whole rehab center. It can't be mine. So I say, so those are mine. She said, everyone. So I was on all of those medication, high powered antibiotic, tramadols, and sudafed, and everything you can name. All those narcotics I was on, and it's just they were just putting me like in a state where sometimes I felt like I was losing my mind because like I was talking out of my head and things like that, and things I was saying, like my husband was saying, it didn't make sense and all that kind of thing. So I was literally out. Long and short of it, I discharged from rehab. I came home and numerous trips back and forth to the US to clinic and for checkup and all that kind of thing. So I've been there. When I got home, I could not walk. I was literally in a wheelchair. And like my husband used to take me to the beach every morning for me to try and get that salt water. So, literally he had to hold me up. He would wheel me down as far as he can, and then he had to hold me up and take me to the beach, and then he would lower me when we get into the water. He would lower me into the edge of the water just for me to have my body lowered in, and the salt water just roll over my skin and all that. And we did that for months. We did that for months. So back and forth, going to hospital. So which a visit that was supposed to be my last visit to hospital. I had, I just came down with all this pain in my back, my neck, and I felt like I was having a heart attack. So I said, wow, I said, I feel like I'm gonna die. I told my husband, I said, I feel like I'm gonna die. I don't know what's going on. So when we got to the hospital, I told the nurse, because they have a nurse would look after you, one nurse would look after you, the charge nurse, and then they have another nurse would come and examine you, and then another doctor would examine you before my overall consultant would come in and examine me. So when I told her what was happening, she said, well, I got to call Dr. Nagas. We got to run some tests. So when I went to have the scan and all that, I just felt like something was really going on. And when I was through with the scan, I asked the radiologist, I said, you could see anything on it? I said, what is happening? Well, they don't tell you. They say, the doctor gonna tell you. Your doctor knows, explain it. Then I got back to the room. So when the doctor came and he said, girl, Lydia, he said, guess what happened? He said, the plates and screws are loose in your neck. He said, and you have to have a surgery. I said, oh my God. I said, doctor, don't say that. I said, what? The screws and plates is loose in my neck. So he said, that's why you having all the pain. And he said, you have to have the surgery like just about now. He said, because the plates can cut your esophagus and all that. He said, and I'm so surprised it didn't happen. Anyway, I said, wow. I said, well, I can't have the surgery now. I said, I need to go back home because I have a doctor's appointment in Nassau. I have to go to doctor the following day. And then I said, my insurance, they said, I can't just arrange to stay here. I have to, speak with the insurance persons and all that for them to, arrange for me to have the surgery and all that. Long story short, I came back to Nassau, did all the examination at Doctor's Hospital. Finally, it was approved after 6 weeks. God is good. After 6 weeks, it had approved for me to go back to the US to have the next surgery. Let me tell you, God is so awesome. What an amazing God we serve. Went to the US that morning before the surgery. I didn't have to sleep in hospital. They said, you could sleep at your hotel, be comfortable with your husband, and come in that morning like 5 o'clock. So we went that morning to the hospital and went to recovery room that cared me for theater and everything. And listen, when I got in theater, the plans they had for surgery, trust me, God had already worked that. And he had already healed my neck. When they got there and they opened it up, were not able to put in no new instrument. They took out the old ones and they could not even find a space to put in the new instrument because my bones had already fused together. So they were not able to put any new instrumentation in my body. So I'm here and I still have my cage in my back, which hold me together. And I am doing well, at least because of Sankey. I am doing so much better. I can run. I live in a 2-story house, so I can run up and down the stairs. Sometimes when persons come to the door and I hear the doorbell, I forget I had a back surgery, free back surgery. I would run down, literally run down the stairs. And sometimes my family, they think I'm crazy, but it's all because of Sankey. I started the Sankey products, and about 8 months ago, I was introduced to the products. And my dear, the first 2 weeks, I felt a difference. I was on the Balaj, was introduced to the Balaj. And what a wonderful change in my life. What a wonderful change it has been in my life since I started the products. Literally, I'm on all of the products now. I'm using the 4 products, and the Balaj is just an amazing story. I live by the Balaj. You know, my children always tell me, like my youngest daughter would say to me, when I go to her, visit her, and then if I start a conversation, she said, Mommy, please say, don't say, leave Sankey outside. She said, leave Sankey outside. Say, let the Balaj stay outside until we finish our conversation, because I literally live Sankey. I literally live Sankey, because since I started the Sankey products, I am not having those kind of pains. It's like I just forget I ever had those kind of pain. I am on no medication for pain, nothing. I took those medication, I flushed them long ago. From last year, I flushed them, and I am on no medication for pain. Although sometimes when the weather get bad, you know, the instrument would expand and all that, because like they said, we are made from the earth. So the instrument would expand and I would feel them expanding, but I would not take anything stronger than Tylenol if I need to. But the Sankey has made a great difference in my life. And I just thank God for Dr. Rudan, who have brought the Sankey products into the Bahamas. Dr. Rudan, hats off to you, and may God continue to bless you, my dear. And I'm using this Sankey products. I'm using it for teaching, and I'm using it as a ministry. So I'm not doing nursing now because I am retired, but I try to use this as a ministry where I minister to people and I tell them my story. And when persons look at me and they know where I came from and they see where I am now, then they are so receptive to using the product. So I just thank God for the product. I thank God for all of the persons who have brought this in here. And if you are someone, the first time on this call and you have not been on the product, you have some comorbidities, or if you don't have anything wrong with you, you can use the Sankey products, because it really recovers, it restores, and it will really revive you. You would find yourself being a new person with these products. So thank you so much for inviting me to share my story. I love you all. God bless you and have a wonderful evening.
Wow. Wow, Queen Lydia. You're a walking and living testimony. I thank God for Sankey, and I thank God for these products. Wow, you and Pastor Barbara, your testimonies. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh my goodness. And you just looking promising. Thank God for Sankey. Look how beautiful you look. You how the song go? I can't sing, but you look beautiful tonight, lady. Wow.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank you. Look here. Guys, we have another call. This is how busy Sankey is, because people can't stop calls. We have another call at 8. But before we go to that call, we have none more testimony. And guess what? Next week, same time, we're going to be here. The call may be a little earlier than what it is today, because we have Dr. Franco coming down here to the islands. But before we go, we're going to get one quick 2-minute testimony from Queen Anastasia. Anastasia, are you out there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Hold on 1 second, Anastasia. Before you even say your testimony, I want persons to understand that this is now switching the testimonies up, because you've just heard testimonies of persons that were in pain, that were suffering, that had to go through so much. But I need persons to understand that not only do we deal with persons that ailing, we deal with the healthy. We deal with those persons that say, I want to be that swimmer. I want to be that runner who is in Carifta. I want to go to the Olympics. I want to run the New York Marathon. I want y'all to understand it is not just about the ailing. Our products are here to literally aid and assist anybody's body to be optimal. Our products allow the body to get to a level of homeostasis so the body can do what God created it to do is what? Heal itself. So I just want to preamble that, Anastasia, because now we're going to hear from an amazing lady who's an athlete. This person is a runner. And so she's going to now give her testimony. Take it away, my love.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Dr. Ruth. Like Dr. Ruth has said, I'm coming from the other side, another aspect. When I started with Psyche, I had no idea what it was about. I responded to a call from my friend Nicola. She was asking persons, anyone interested in earning some extra money, to give her a call. And I was like, this sounds like this is network marketing. I don't know if I'm interested in this, but at the time I was unemployed. So I said, anyway, let me give it a try. And it so happened that when I started using the products last year, June, I was suffering with some back pain. I had a really, really bad fall in April. And I mean, literally knocked up the breath out of me. And, I was really having pain, couldn't sleep at night, x-ray showed back spasms, internal bruising. And I completed all the medication from the doctors. I'm still having pain, unable to sleep. And like I said, I started Sankey in June. And I said, before I start, with the business side of it, trying to sell them, let me try using them to see how these things work. And literally after 3 days, no more pain. Pain just went away. I was like, this can't be for real. This must be my mind. But I had no more pain. I've been sleeping well and so forth. And, like Dr. Wood said, I'm a marathon runner. And with, all the pandemic, lockdowns and so forth, not able to leave the yard. We were, wasn't able to run and exercise regular like I, usually do. But my running group, usually once a year, we travel as a group to international marathons. And in August, we decided we will do the virtual New York Marathon. Since we can't travel, we do it virtually as a group. So that literally gave us about 10 weeks to train. Marathon running is about 16 weeks. We trained about 10 weeks. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not sure. I hurt my back early in the evening. I'm not feeling any pain. I'm not sure what my back is in. And, 10 weeks, that's a challenge. So anyway, I took on the challenge. We trained. October 31st was race day. Day before, I still didn't feel quite ready, but I said, anyhow, I'll give it a shot, however it goes, it goes. And we ran at midnight. So, conditions was good, it was cool and so forth, no traffic. Anyway, I ran the marathon and amazingly, I shaved 19 minutes off my time from my previous marathon the previous year. I shaved 19 minutes and I guess this is limited running 2020. Short training period. And it was not till I finished the race, I was like, something, I never hit the wall. Usually with marathon, when they say mile 18, 20, we hit that wall, like, oh my goodness, I can't finish. You just hit this wall, you're trained, you're done. I ran the entire thing full of energy, not realizing I didn't hit the wall, I was done. And I was like, oh my God. And energy for days, energy was through the roof. And I can only say it was Sankey because I've been using the products. I use all 4 products, and I've always been health advocate. I started in 2002 on this health journey. So I'm always careful, what I eat and watch my diet. And of course, being a marathon, and I have to, be careful what I ingest. And I can only say it's Sankey because with the energy, I no longer have to use all those energy gels and stuff that I used to use. I usually, prior to a run, I would mix my volage, and in a 7, I would drink half and put the other half in my body, in my bottle. And that usually sustains my energy for the entire run. And I can also say my daughter used to complain of menstrual cramps. Since she's been using volage, she no longer complains of menstrual issues. And I can just say, on the products, get on them, they're awesome. I'm sleeping better, my skin is clearer, I have energy. They're just awesome. I just feel, like I say, improved performance with my running. That's my testimony. Back to you, Dr. Ruth.
Hi.
Hi,
Wow.
Donnelly.
Anastasia.
Yes.
Hey, man,
Hi.
look here. I remember sometime coming to pick up your products. Look here. Your products better be there. I remember you coming to pick up your products. Your products better be there as far as you're concerned. Boy, look here. Tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
Tonight.
Exactly.
And well, what Anastasia was talking about as an athlete, I would have you guys to know that we have the gold standard certification, whereas our supplements are all drug-free. So athletes can use it. We have professional athletes using our products because of the gold seal standard, that there are no chemicals in these products and no drugs. So athletes can be on these products as well. So they could get their testing, whatever, their drug testing, and no drugs come up in their system, because guess what? Our products are all natural. Okay, so, and then as she spoke about her daughter and her cycle, the same thing with my daughter. No more cramps. Using the Balage and the Inner 7, ladies. No more cramps. And we even have persons who are now going through menopause and they're not having that hot flash, like that really terrible hot flash that they used to have, because it's actually help. Yes, it's
I
actually
wanted to
helping.
add that. I wanted to add that as well. I'll be 54 next week, 53 next week. And I mean, I never had any real serious menopause issues, but I no longer have the hot flashes either. So that's another thing I can add to my testimony. No more hot flashes, no menopause issues at all.
I'm telling you guys, these products, these some bad stuff. But guess what? We have to jump over to another call, and we'd like y'all to jump over to this call because our marketing sales representative, Mr. Tim Trahan, from Sankey Global Executive Office, has a call, and he would like us to join him. So Dr. Ruth Ann, can you just post that link up for us, please?
I posted it in the chat for everybody, but let me bring it back down again. Let's see, I posted it somewhere, I thought. Okay, let me send it right back again. Yes, guys. So we're going to do this again because we absolutely know that, testimonies are what persons need to know. That it builds your belief in a company. It builds your belief in the products, because you haven't used it yet, so you don't know what we're talking about. But once you do, you will definitely have your own testimony to what's going on. So that is the link. That is the link to the next call. And so we'd love to have you join us. Love to have you join us. And like Nurse Donnelly said, we're going to be doing this again next week, but it's going to be earlier because we don't want to clash. We really wanted to have a full call, but definitely next week we'll have it a little earlier so that we can have that full call and we can share, because we had a lineup of testimonies, but we would love to share with all of you. But get back to the person that brought you this call and let them know. You just want to try it. Try the Balage. Get that Balage in your system. Like Queen Anastasia said, it amazed her when she used it. You heard Queen Nurse Lydia say, her back, she doesn't need those pain pills anymore. I came off 300 milligrams of Tramadol. That stuff has you really hallucinating. Too much gabapentin. My shoulder used to twitch. I had a twitch because of pills. Because I've been able to come off of 1,800 milligrams per day off of that, I don't have that twitch anymore. Literally, my body used to just shake by itself. So guys, join us on the next call. Listen into what he has to say and see you again next week. Get back to the person that brought you this call. Thank you so much, Nurse Donnelly. As always, my co-host, my co-pilot. Love it. So thank you, guys. Have a fabulous weekend. And once again, Nurse Donnelly, thank you so much for, suggesting this, because I think it's important for a person to hear the testimonies. So
Yes,
thank you, guys.
Yes.
And I know you have a testimony to share next week. So I hope they can get on and hear that testimony. And then on Tuesday, guys, microbiome call. Please get back to the person that brought you to this call. Nurse Donnelly will be talking about the prescription for your condition. So what is the Sankey prescription for the condition that you have? So she's going to be speaking to that along with Dr. Denise out of Trinidad and Tobago, and of course, King Clive Campbell, who we call the Microbiome King. So once again, thank you so much. We're not having an after party on this call. Jump over to
the next call.
slide.
Jump over. Let's go.
Be
let's
pushing,
go. Let's go.
out the
Keep this
door.
party
Y'all going.
rolling. Keep this party rolling. Let's
Next
go.
next call, guys. Because y'all know y'all like to stay and walk to the door and then go to the car. No, go in your car and leave. Next call. I'm ending the call now. Love you guys.